Swift News, and we have a very, very special person with us on today. And you may know her from our film festival. Her name is Renee Ambush. And we are so grateful that we have had a chance to catch up with her. She was mentioned as an honorable mention in our film festival, A Better Baltimore, which was an awesome film, guys. If you haven't seen it, maybe it's on YouTube or something. But once we get into the conversation, we'll be able to see if you guys can go ahead and still take a peek at it. So welcome, Renee Ambush.
Well, thank you, Miss Jones. It is so good to see you again. I love sisterhood. I love coming together. So thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. I'm so happy we were able to catch up with you. And what have you been doing since the festival? Since we've seen you, what have you been up to?
I've been continually with my pen, my pad, and
Ooh.
hitting the grind to get messages out through film and television. I also, of course, do song. So I've been around here singing some things. You can find that out there as well. It's so funny. I just went to a cafe the other day
Mhm.
and I showed up and they had karaoke. And the
Mhm.
man came to me, he goes, you look like you got a song in you. And I'm like, no, I'm just trying to eat my tacos. It's Taco Tuesday. and so he put it on and okay, I was like, okay, I'll give you a song before I go. And before you know it, I was tagged in something off of Instagram. And
Mm.
so I'm floating around singing, and I'm telling you on
Oh,
Instagram, I was like,
oh my!
oh,
Someone recorded you.
someone recorded me.
Oh well, you must can sing.
I do a little something. I do. I mean, I was considered for a Grammy in 2018, so I guess I have some kind of pipes and some things going on there.
Are
Yes,
you
ma'am.
are you kidding me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God. Look at you. Look, listen, guys. We are honored to have her because I didn't know this. I'm just thinking she's a screenwriter and sort of other things, but you're more than that.
Yes,
So
ma'am. I
how do you
am.
move? How did you move from which one was first? Was it screenwriting or was it writing songs?
Actually, it was writing songs. So I've been singing probably since I was about 7. I used to give neighborhood concerts on my porch. So I literally, it was my dream really to go into singing. So I always thought that I would, do singing and everything like that. And I winded up using my vocal talents though for stage plays. So that's kind of how I was able to integrate the two. And I found myself on stage plays and, of course, in gospel choirs and church choirs and background and jazz ensembles. So I literally thought singing, and everyone probably thought singing would be actually the forerunner instead of the writing. But
Oh,
I'm able to use all of them.
oh my goodness. So you are a singer, you're a screenwriter, and well, you're a songwriter.
Songwriter,
Songwriter
screenwriter,
as well. And you
film
sing.
writer,
Film.
and published author.
I can't. I can't. So you have a book out there too?
3 of them. Yes, ma'am.
3 books?
Yes.
Tell us what you want us to know about you today.
Okay. What I want people to know is the mantra and what I want others to know as well, and that is you're not what happened to you. So
Mm,
one of my first books is called Silent Screams. And let's see, I usually have it's Silent Screams. And
mhm.
what happens is this is my little face on here, and it's a book speaking about overcoming sexual trauma and abuse. So 10 years of consistent incest and molestation can take a toll on an individual's identity, their self worth, self esteem. And, it took a lot to kind of dig up out of that in order for me to believe that I was worth something. And then I was worth enough to have words to speak and to give to somebody else
I'm sorry. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay.
Okay.
To let them
Oh
know
my
that
God.
they too were worth much.
And
Yes.
it's Silent Screams, the first one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What's the second one?
The second one
Oh my
is Prayer Can Change Anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a book that was co-authored, and it was actually Amazon's bestseller. And the third book was something that I'm also kind of passionate about, and that is mompreneurs. So moms and entrepreneuring, trying to juggle them both, which was also a bestseller, gold seal and silver seal in the international book field. Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So let me
Thank
ask
you.
you this. I know the first book, Silent
Mhm.
Screams. That's the name of
Yes.
it.
Yes.
I know that that book. I can't imagine what it took for you to write it. First of
Mhm.
all, I can't imagine what that's like to go through. Second of all, and then thirdly, have you ever thought about transforming that into a movie? Because so many women need to hear that.
Absolutely. That is actually the first in my series. You wouldn't believe it if I told you. So that was just the first, and I am looking to turn that into a screenplay. I mean, I'm sorry, to a short film, or even really a full feature, because it's so
Yeah,
much to it. One of the things, and I'm going to put this on since we're here. I'm reaching out to
no,
you
let's do
because
it.
let's make it happen. Let's
Okay.
honestly make it happen. There's so much to that, Joan. Like I said, it's a series, and it started off with that book.
Yeah.
Um, there is the other books in the series that I'm still writing, but to put it out on the screen, we can make it so much more. Not only I said the incest and molestation, but that led me into relationships of domestic violence. So married twice in domestic violent relationships. So I am a philanthropist and I'm an advocate for domestic violence. And here it is, October, Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Yeah.
So I speak because I always say I'm not just a survivor. I survived it, but I overcame it. And we
Yeah.
got to get past surviving to thriving. So I want to talk about that. It's so much to that, and I look forward to let's make that happen because I want to impact the world. That
Yes.
is my title. I'm an
Mhm.
impartation strategist, and what I do honestly is I awaken that very self that's
Mm.
in you, so that you can live your best life by being your best self. Got the background for it too. Mental health, behavioral therapy, social work. That's my
Oh
background.
my God. Oh my. It looks like everything is wrapped up inside you.
It is.
Everything is inside the house. You have
Yeah.
everything you need within you to accomplish that. And
Mhm.
sometimes we go through things and we don't know what will be the outcome. Well, everyone can have a great outcome, but it's how hard you want to work and how
Ooh,
how
yes.
how you want to get it out there.
Yes.
So a lot of things, a lot of women have been through these things, but a lot of them are silent, like
Mhm.
silent screams.
Mhm.
They're screaming from within, and
Mhm.
they're acting out in certain ways, and you wonder why. Well, those are the things because they have not released those type of that energy. That energy is
Absolutely.
trapped inside of them, and they can't
Absolutely.
release it. So whenever you want to talk about converting that to a screenplay to a film,
Hmm.
yeah, it's definitely that's a full feature.
It
It's
really is.
like you can't take. It just seems like you can't tell a story like that to that
Hmm.
magnitude in a
Hmm.
short film.
Hmm. You have just made my heart leap. I'm so serious
Yes.
because I want to get that on the screen. It has to
Mhm.
be. Yes.
So, what are you doing this month since you're an activist for that? What are you doing for the month of October? You
I
doing?
have been speaking. I've been doing a lot of speaking via social media and in person, speaking about overcoming. I've been given a lot of awareness because I let people know when we speak about domestic violence, the first thing we kind of think about is, of course, someone getting beat. And I let them know that, in all honesty, by the time there is physical altercation, you have been abused long before that. There are so many types of abuse. We don't talk about spiritual abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse. And these are things that I've actually, like I said, endured. We kind of, and I'm a licensed ordained minister, so I don't want anybody to think that I'll ever speak against the building called church, but I
Mm-hmm.
let people know that we are the church. So
Yes.
what happens is, we sometimes get into religious organizations that spiritually abuse us, and we don't understand that. We don't realize that we're operating out of religion when this is all about a relationship. So in my abusive marriage, it was really tough because, again, I told you my secular background being that of therapeutic services and social worker, and then being the minister, and him actually being a state officer and the church musician. So we had a look. We had all the things to say we had it together. So it was very challenging, navigating through that, protecting him, protecting myself in the church, and what does it look like, and things of that nature. So I really let people know, because nobody ever knew. That was another silent scream. I was preaching and teaching and speaking and singing and acting and writing. And, I walked into a domestic violence homeless shelter, driving a BMW with another car, and they thought I was coming there for a job. I was like, no, I need a room.
Wow.
So we have to talk about that. You didn't see any scars because the scars were within. And that's another song that I wrote. They're called Flowers. You don't know what I did for these flowers. So
Oh my goodness.
yes.
So I'm taking that some of those songs are probably be in your movie.
Yes, yes, yes. Because the song that was actually considered for the Grammy is called Destiny. And I'm definitely have to send you my song Paralyzed.
Please.
My At the time, my daughter was 14. She was the director of my music video that also have been in Film Fest winning all around. Yes, it's called Paralyzed, and it showed the things that I was paralyzed to. Paralyzation is the fear and or the inability to move forward. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are wheelchair bound or anything like that. So it was through the domestic violence, like I said, the molestation, that had me bound to things as suicide attempts and depression. I mean, I talk about, like, I'm real big on mental health. Another thing that these things lead to, and I'm like, as my shirt says, as it all, there is destiny over drama. It's no matter what you've been through, if you are still here, you
Mhm.
still have destiny. That drama does not hold you bound. That actually was things to build your muscle to operate in your destiny and in your purpose.
My heart just, I'm overwhelmed now because when I think of women in that type of situation when they're being abused in that way, and you just stated that the mental state happens way before the physical,
Hmm.
and so how much strength you must have to have in order to stay in something silently and going back home to it, going back home to it, going back home to it, and at one point you said, "Okay, no more." Um,
Sadly enough, it wasn't the concussion.
mhm.
It was I'm 5'3" and a half, 5'4". Okay, I claim 5'4". On a good day, diet, good nice diet, might have good 165, ish. He was every bit of 6'4", 390 pounds. And the
Oh.
last time, and again, like I said, it was all emotional abuse,
Mhm.
and we can get into that. But it was the physical that said, okay, this is not even going to be a okay. It's not going to be a next time. When he went across my face and almost broke my jaw,
Mm.
that was it. And that was after almost 10 years of marriage. So I had been emotionally abused. And when I say
Yes.
that, like, looking for him to have his way. If he doesn't get his way, then he go and cheat, or he would withhold, whatever was needed, or make
Mhm.
sure that he put things in place that I was unable. I mean, when I tell you, look, we're gonna get real, because I tell you, I
Mhm.
am real so
Mhm.
that you can deal and then you heal. And
Yes,
that's what
absolutely.
yes. So it was literally him uh having me committed to a psych ward. Now, I'm a therapist. He has me committed to the psych ward. But again, this
Wow.
is destiny over drama, right?
Right,
I
yeah.
went into the psych ward only to meet other young women that I was able to minister to. See, I
Oh
would have
my.
never gotten there if he
Yeah.
had me committed. But of
Mhm.
course, looking at it from the perspective that this man is crazy, he trying to make people think I'm crazy. God said,
Mhm.
I got another plan. I need you to get to these women. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yes.
I'm like, so when Paul and Silas was locked up, and they was like, well, wait a minute now, it was people that had to be met in those
Yes.
places.
Right.
So,
That's
and
right.
I'm not off limits to being able to be a vessel God can use in any place. So I had to get there for that. And it was a nice little sleep and rest for me because I needed it.
Yeah. 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 So I take it that these things that you went through in your marriage, and I take it that this is what inspires you to do what you do today.
It is.
So
It
do you
is.
also minister to married couples as well, being
I
that you
do.
come from there too?
I minister to them and I marry them because I love the Institute of Marriage. It's amazing.
No,
Never give up on marriage. And guess what? At some point, God gonna send another my way,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I always tell my friends, they say, I don't know, they always question, when. And I'm like, the way you serving the Lord, the way you worshiping the Lord, oh, the Lord ain't trying to see nobody right now.
I know that's right. I know that's right. I'm telling you.
He loving what you doing.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you, when did you realize that you was called to the ministry?
Mm. I was probably about 27 to be exact.
Mm,
Um, because I remember sitting in church and I heard within we call Holy Spirit or intuition say that, I've called you to give my word on a massive level, Isaiah 61:1, and he have called me to the brokenhearted, and the downtrodden.
yes.
And it made sense. Okay, so I went through all that I went through, that I would be able to understand. I would have the characteristics of Christ: empathy, sympathy, patience, long suffering, understanding, so that I really understand what people go through. Now, I started off with a ministry called Wish Women I Shall Help. And I
Mm,
realized that I started really ministering to men who were abused and men who were broken. And I noticed that a lot of times when we would have service, I would literally, I mean, dressed up, nice hat, nice clothes, and I'm
mhm.
sitting outside on the gutter talking to people who never made it in the building. And that's when I got it. I was like, and which is my company, Out the Box. I'm
Wow.
like, that's what it was. I fit no box. God has allowed me to go through everything that I've gone through, that I'm able to relate to many. The Bible says, Paul said, he said, I became all things to all men so that some may be saved. So what
Yes.
happens is, you know what? I got a story for you. You probably been through it, been to it, been over it, been around it.
Mhm.
So, everything, it just clicked. So I'm going to say probably about age 27-ish. It finally clicked. Yeah.
And when did you start your business out of the box?
Out of the Box came in, let me see, 2000, no, I'm sorry, 99, 2000, probably. I may have been about 33. Oh, wow. What a number. Probably about 33.
33. Wow.
Yeah. When it became Out the Box. Yeah.
And so in your company, you go out to minister. So people will call you. You allow people to call you to their ministries and things like that to go out and minister. Because I know you said you're a minister of the gospel.
Yep, absolutely. And I love going out to speak, and I love, really, in all honesty, going out to non-conventional places. Again, it's the whole out the box. And when I started that business, I understood. Now it came from God, but it came from, Joan, I'm so real. I'm just gonna tell you right now. So I'm loving God and serving Him, and I'm dating a guy who's incarcerated. Okay. And every time I went to go see him, I left out. And I mean, he would minister to me. And I was just like, it's so funny because I'm like, every time I leave out of here, I still have to go back to a whole bunch of things that were happening in life. I
Mm.
thought he was the one that was, incarcerated, but I realized there were still things with me, and I was incarcerated. So
Oh
the
my
whole out the
God,
box,
that's
yeah,
good. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Woo.
So out the box, when I came in and God gave it, He said, wait, where you are is not necessarily where you ought to be. Step out of the realm of self incarceration and be free. Step out the box. So that's why I deal with people, to help them get out of self incarceration, the bondages and the lies and the things that they tell
Mm.
themselves or the enemy tells them and things of that nature. It's like, no, 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 no. You are born with purpose, on purpose, for purpose. So we're going to get to that destiny. We're going to deal with that drama so
Mm.
that you can get to your destiny.
Oh my God. So what target age do you target?
Um,
The message
young adults. Yep, I usually start in about 21 because they're making that developmental transition into kind of no more, youth, young adult, but into adulthood. Really every and anybody, but I target usually I start in about age 21, where we're trying to figure out what's going on, what's
Mhm.
happening,
Yes,
and then in this world. I've been talking to 16, 15 and middle schoolers because things have changed. So,
yes,
you know,
absolutely. I was talking with someone yesterday, and we're like, the kids are so intelligent now, and we were like,
yes,
maybe we need to change the curriculum in the
yes.
schools because what they're
Yes.
teaching them now. And I mean, we need to know about sex trafficking. We need to know about
Yes.
all these type of things, mainly things that happens in the house.
Yes.
If we can get a life class going on like that, so those kids can know that some of these things are not normal.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
because when you live in when you live in a neighborhood and everybody's doing the same thing, whether it be the worst neighborhood of them all,
Hmm.
you think it's right because everybody's doing the same thing. So a kid can't comprehend. That's not right. Mama's doing,
Absolutely.
daddy's doing, the sneaky uncle's doing it. I mean, it's just, it's just crazy. And so, somebody was stating that our teens, you know, just yesterday was our teens are killing up one another. And I'm like, well, I know we're focusing on the teens, but the young adults are cutting up too. And
Absolutely.
so it feels to me like, ages 45 to 50 and over, we still have to be on the front line.
Me too.
You know how you always say that the young person, the 20-year olds should be in church. They should be, tending the field, until
Hmm.
they last come or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, but that's not the case. Grandmothers are no longer in the kitchen, baking cookies for the grandkids. Everybody's securing the bag. And so no one is focusing on the home. And so the enemy is able to come there and just wreak havoc in the home.
Absolutely.
And by the time you settle down, you're like, well, when they started doing that? Wait,
Hmm.
what happened over here? Well, you were visible. You were
Absolutely.
invisible. You were absent. You weren't home. And so,
Absolutely.
it's like we got to pay attention to everything now.
Oh my goodness, the television, the ads.
Mhm.
This is a joke, but my 8 year old, I'm here in Atlanta and she was like, don't vote for, and she said the name. And I'm like, well, you don't even know. He was like, because he's feeding China. And I was like, wait a minute, what? She was like, yeah, he's giving aid to China, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, and I'm like, wow, I didn't even get that, again, like these messages and things of that nature. So we have to be mindful. I know it seemed like we're taskmasters, but when it comes to the social media, when it comes to what they watch, subliminal messages and things of that nature, we have to be on top of it. And my children always get on me because they like, mine, you had a certain amount of kids, but you think you mother everybody. When I see things happening out
Mhm.
of love, I'm just like, because I always say it doesn't take a village. It takes a village with compassion and understanding that gets it, because everybody in the village may not be able to give you the same, what you need. But
Mhm.
I'm just like, yeah, I'll step in. I'll see, because we have to. We have
Mhm.
to. Somebody, they have to get it somewhere.
Somewhere. And
Mhm.
but let me just say this, that some of our young people, they're really stepping up and they're saying, no way, this
Oh,
can't happen on my watch. And I'm
yes.
so proud of them that they're actually taking that torch, on the grandmothers and the grandfathers tried to that race they tried to run, but they got
Yes.
tired in the midst of the sprint. So
Yes.
so I'm so proud to see that happen. So let me ask you, how do you stay grounded with such an uncertain world? Oh my God, it's so uncertain out here today. How do you
It
stay
is.
grounded?
It really is my faith. It really is. Honestly, if it is not, if it were not, and that's, I sing that song. If it had not been for the Lord on my side, tell me, where would I be? I want to know, where would I be?
Yeah. You got look, hey, you got your free show now. Yes, Renee.
Yeah, and and I want to say this because, again, I'm so on having a relationship, because religion, the letter kills.
Mhm,
If I tell people, if you have one Bible verse, I don't
mhm,
even care if it's Jesus wept. If you have
mhm,
one Bible verse that strengthens you, that
mhm,
actually touches you, just say it,
mhm,
say it, say it.
mhm.
Hide that word in your heart. You don't
Yeah.
have to know the Bible back and forth, but if it's just a word, you know what I mean, that you can just one word.
Mhm.
Honestly, that's what I do. I'm like, I don't try to remember everything. It's just the word that touches my heart. That's like, you know what? That's going to get me through today. That's what
Yes,
I'm going to need for today. Yes. Give
yes,
us
ma'am.
this day our daily bread.
Amen. You better say it. Because we get new benefits every morning. Thank you, Lord.
Every morning.
Let me ask you something. We're almost out of time. Our
Okay.
time. We got about 5 minutes left. But I want you to speak to the person that's watching, that maybe be deal that's in prison,
Hmm.
that's locked up, that has shackles on them, but they're not aware of it. What would you say to them?
You know,
How can they find out if, in fact, they are in prison? Because most don't think they are.
absolutely, absolutely. You know, being real, like I said, I always tell people we are like that little star on the map in the mall, right?
Mm,
There's a destination that we're trying to get to, there's a journey that we're traveling. If we're in the mall, there's a store that we are adamant about getting to because that's the whole purpose of being at the mall. We
mhm,
pinpoint where we are on that star, and it tells us where we're actually, how we're going to get there, how we're going to navigate through there. So when we look at where we are and we think and we go, you know what is it that I want to do, that I should be doing, that I really feel heavy about doing? And if
mhm,
I'm not there, then that means whether it's a physical shackle, a spiritual shackle, an emotional shackle, that means that you are hindering, you are being hindered, you are in bondage, you are incarcerated to self. So, where do we get to that place where you feel and you are operating freely and naturally? That's the place. That's how you know that you are in some bondage, because you feel constricted on the inside. You feel like there's something else that you should be doing or supposed to be doing. It's
mhm.
something that's just tugging at you, that's like, I'm not fulfilled. That word right there, I'm not fulfilled. And if you're not fulfilled, you're in some shackles, and we got to get free.
My God. And because it's October and
Yes.
we're in Domestic Violence Month, what do you say to the person? Because sometimes individuals don't leave because they don't have an escape plan.
Hmm. Hmm.
What would you tell them how they can get out of that situation safely?
Okay. The first thing I would tell you is get out of the situation in your mind. You
Oh,
are
God.
stronger than you know. If you are able and continually tell yourself, I'm big on affirmations, I am more. I'm worth more. You start there because that's the beginning of the exit plan. I know we look for the physical exit, but see, sometimes we exit physically, but we're still incarcerated or we're still in that domestic violent relationship or abusive relationship in here. So we have to start right there. That's what I had to do. I had to really minister to myself and say, guess what? um, I can do better. I am better. I'm for better. There's purpose for me, and it's beyond this. And once I start building that, you'll hear people say that's when you start feeling the strength to then navigate out in a physical way. Now, of course, if it's something physical and it's right then and there, I'm going to tell you the truth, baby. Your exit plan is out. OUT. You don't even need to begin to try to figure out, do I do? You just out. And
Mm,
once you're out, it's funny, but it's not. Just keep running. Just keep going. You understand what I'm saying? You keep going. You go to a trusted individual. You just keep going. But if you're in a situation where it's not so much of a physical, and you can kind of take get yourself into a place where you like, you know what, I'm making my exit plan and my strategy plan within myself. I'm changing my focus and my perspective first and foremost about myself. So then when I leave, I'm healing and I'm healed and I'm whole. And it's nothing that I'll return back to.
oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Renee. And
Absolutely.
what was the name of your three books again? How?
Silent Screams,
Mhm.
Prayer Can Change Anything, and Mompreneurs. Yes.
Okay, and so is that on Amazon?
Mompreneurs, Prayer Can Change Everything is on Amazon. Um, um, Silent Screams, you can actually get from me. I have two websites. We didn't even get a chance to talk about my Drama Dream
Okay,
Foundation
let's do
website.
it. Let's do
Okay, but
it.
but
We got a lot to talk about.
but
Okay.
you can order the book and actually set up appointments with me at www.rebirthofrenee.com. So that is the website, www.rebirthofrenee.com. And we're going to go ahead and get out this box and we're going to be free, y'all. It's the whole rebirth. Absolutely. Um, Drama Dream. It's one of the projects that I'm working on.
Yes.
It's a nonprofit actually set up in honor of my oldest son, who also was in the music entertainment industry by being a music producer and a rapper, and his name was Drama. I
Wow.
say was because he passed away
Oh,
December 15th, 2016, at
oh,
the
I'm
age of
sorry to hear that.
28.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Renee.
Thank you. And it was his dream to use his voice and rap and his music to free people because he was his mama's child. He was
Oh,
all about enlightening, being an impact, and imparting life into people.
mm,
So I created Drama Dream Foundation.
oh,
And what that is It's a foundation to help individuals between the ages of 16 and 25 unblock barriers for creativity. So what I mean is those are for mental health barriers, substance abuse barriers, grief, and trauma, so that they can go ahead and be creative in the arts. They can write films, they can write movies, they can write music, they can sing, they can go ahead and publish books and things. The very things and obstacles that I overcame, I knew it, like you said, at age 27 and two, and what is 1997-ish,
Mhm.
was when I said, okay, you know what, I'm supposed to impact people's lives. And even with my son's passing, I say this: I gave birth to him, but he gave life to me in his death.
My
That's
God,
when I woke up and realized I had a greater purpose. And again, there was destiny over the drama.
my God. Congratulations.
You.
And so is that's in Atlanta, right?
No, actually, I'm from Baltimore. I bleed purple. Everybody knows I love Baltimore. If I don't have one drama, Destiny over drama, I got on a Baltimore shirt because everybody knows, a better Baltimore. I'm looking to create a better Baltimore because a better Baltimore created me.
Oh,
So it's actually in Baltimore, and you can find that website as well. It's dramadreamfoundation.org. Um, I would love for people to come on board, sponsor, partner, because we've got so many, we was talking about this, Joan, we've got so many young adults and so many creative people who don't know that they have stories inside of them that actually help other people. They have songs inside of them. They
yes.
have scripts. They have
Yes.
films. They have it inside of them. But
Yes.
again, those barriers that are blocking them from being creative.
From being productive. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But I always see you in Atlanta.
Because I am in Atlanta. I mean, I'm in both. Look, I have dual
You back and forth.
residencies. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So that foundation, do you plan on like eventually when you get it running and things like that, you plan on moving it around to
Yes.
different cities?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Wow, that is
Absolutely.
awesome. That is awesome. Some things could, treasure really comes out of tragedies.
Yes.
It's like, it's like you when you start to see it unravel, you either have that choice, like I said in the beginning, you have that choice to make it out of something. You have that choice to allow God to put his anointing on it and save other people, much souls alive.
Yes.
Or you have that choice to just be in shackles, and God wants us all free. And
Yes.
I commend everybody. Then, I always say the race is not given to the swift,
Hmm.
because we know this race is you're not going to get there quickly. The journey it's so many things you're going to have to go through. It's like you be at sometimes you either in a position of you're going to be made or you break it'll break you or make you.
Hmm.
So you just have to be worded up.
And sometimes, look, Joan, I like what you just said. Sometimes you have to break to make.
That's
You
true.
know, I
Yeah.
say that in order. When we talk about getting that good oil, what
Mm-hmm.
happens? That thing is
Yes.
pressed. It's
Yes.
broken in order for everything great to actually come out of it. Hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You don't see it, but the Lord knows. I
Yes.
mean, everything
Woo.
is already written down before we were even born. He knew us. He
Yes.
called us by name. And
Yes.
so I'm just so excited for the things that you are doing.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, it's so much to you. And that's part of why the enemy trying to take you out.
All the time, all the time. And I had gotten this word long time ago, and that's why I get so tickled when I told you that my husband had me committed to the psych ward.
Mhm.
um I heard in my spirit, it's always going to be attack on your mind because they have to take away the validity because you speak so much truth.
My goodness. Whoa. Can we just rest and stop right there for a moment? Take a breath, people. Take a breath. Oh, Lord. You
Hmm.
said something there.
Hmm. That's what
Because
happens.
if you can lose your mind, then you lose your truth. And you don't know what's true.
Hmm.
And today is so uncertain, whereas that you don't know what's the truth and what's not. You have to have a spirit of discernment. You
Absolutely.
have to go deeper than you've ever went before, because God
Absolutely.
is calling us up and out. Because
Hmm.
you have people sitting amongst us that are practicing witchcraft, they're putting
Yes.
curses on you and things like that, and you got to make sure that you cover you and your family.
Yes.
You know,
Every morning God has given us angels in Psalm 91 that are assigned specifically to us
Mm-hmm.
every morning. I don't want no unemployed angels. I'm
I
like, the
you better
morning angels,
say
time to go to work.
you better say it. You
Absolutely.
better say because they won't do nothing if you don't send them to go forward.
Absolutely.
So you got to give them
Absolutely.
assignments
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
they have to do the good pleasures of
Absolutely.
God. So Renee, it was so nice talking to
Thank
you. Is there
you.
anything else that you want us to know? And I would love to have you come back because there's so much in you. It's so much that we probably did not cover
Yeah.
because of the time. But I would love to have you back.
I would
I
love to come
want
back.
really.
Yeah. I
Okay,
would.
and there's one particular subject I would love for you to help us with. Individuals who are dealing with children who are addicts,
Hmm.
the mental abuse that the parents go through. We know that the child may be going through it because they're in it. They're actually living it. But I'm telling you, it's like the parents are carrying that burden right along with them, and it's hard. It's like they're attached. They're attached together. So if
So let me say to that, because my son who passed away struggled with substance abuse. And in the beginning of it, because and I want to say this though to every parent: we
you,
wrestle not against flesh and blood,
yes.
right?
Mhm.
But wickedness, of course, and principalities in high places. That's not your child. That's a spirit
Mhm.
that has seen the strength in you that wants to take you away, but it's not your child. And I know, I'm telling you from experience,
Mhm.
um, you have to love them to life. And sometimes loving them to life is letting them go and watching them die to self. So yeah, it was very challenging to have a child that you birthed, you raised, you gave everything to, and then you had to separate yourself from the activity and the mindset that they're in. But it was that very love, and I'm going to tell you, it means sometimes you've got to distance. You've just got to cover them in prayer. You've got to send those angels out. There was times I hadn't talked to my son. Then there were times, I mean, and it was crazy because, like you said, the mental anguish. Sometimes he would make Facebook posts and say, "My mother did to me, and I hate her,"
Mhm.
and I'm just like,
Uh-huh.
"Oh my gosh!"
Uh-huh. Mhm.
Then I had to realize, and again, this is with the healing with self. I had to separate who I was as far as, and I talk about this a lot about separating your titles. When we take titles from people, we
Mhm.
take away the expectation of the characteristics of those titles.
Ooh.
So if that's your child is supposed to love you and care for you and be there for you. But see, what happens is when we take away the title and go, this is an individual that's challenged with this, you
Mhm.
get to see them for who they are and actually be able to minister to, pray for, or deal with what that is, opposed to the title of child, the title of mother.
Mm.
Take that title away and operate just in who you are. If you love this child, it's gonna show. And I'm telling you, they will come around. And remember, grab a tribe of people who will hold you up in
Mhm.
prayer and physically, allowing you also to be yourself, because we have to have real people around us to
Mhm.
allow us to give the emotion to what the proper emotion that we need, so that we could go ahead and process past it, and be strong enough to go ahead on forth. So I would just say, first and foremost, understand that you are an amazing parent. Do not blame yourself, because I say we're all superheroes and we get the power of choice. That child chose that. And it had nothing to do with what you did, because everything, remember, was preordained. So if
Mhm.
that was the journey that they had to take to get them back to the road, it's a part of their testimony. Don't blame yourself.
Did you guys hear that? So we definitely gonna have you. We'll have you back on the show because I get that a lot,
Yeah.
and a lot of us either know somebody
Hmm.
or you're actually going through it, and it's,
Hmm.
and so it's time to expose everything that has us
Everything.
in shackles. Everything. I mean, it's time to
Everything.
be free because you need your mind to keep you safe in the world we live in today. So,
Got
and
to
you,
be real so
and you
that you can deal and
ask,
so
and
you can heal.
you better say it. You better say it. Well, Renee, it's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Yes, it
I mean, we can go. I can really go on and on, but
is.
I don't want to be out of order. So I would definitely have all the information on Renee on how you can get in touch with her, how you can go to her website. Congratulations on
Thank
everything,
you.
Renee. We
Thank you.
appreciate you. We appreciate you opening up and just allowing us to feel that love that's inside of you and
Thank
sharing it
you.
with us today. So thank you so much. And we will definitely see you soon.
Yes, thank you so much.
Until then, we'll see you next time, Renee. Thank you.
Alrighty.
Okay, bye bye.
Thank you for joining us on Swift News, where we highlight community leaders from all around the world with our special guest, Minister Renee Ambush. Don't forget to stop over at Amazon and pick up one of her best-selling books, including Silent Screen. To book an interview, please visit our website at wisdomproductioninternational.org, or you can email us at wisdomproductionllc@gmail.com.